The iPhone 16 is less than 6 months away, and if you're not sure about waiting for the 16 or getting the 15 right now, here are the top 15 biggest rumored changes of the entire iPhone 16 lineup. Okay, so the first change, which I think people will care about the most, is the larger displays. The 16 Pro is increasing from 6.1 inches to 6.3, while the 16 Pro Max is increasing from 6.7 to 6.9, with the standard models remaining the same. And what's great here is that the Pro models are not necessarily getting much larger. The Pro Max is getting taller by 3.1 millimeters and wider by 0.9, while the 16 Pro is getting taller by 3 and wider by 0.85. Plus, the bezels on all 4 models are said to be getting even thinner, as Apple would be using BRS, or border reduction structure, and they would now be equal between all 4 models rather than just the Pro models having the thinner bezels. The second big new feature is a brand new main camera sensor on the 16 Pro Max. This is said to be 1/1.14 inches in size from the current 1/1.28, or a 12% larger size, which could give us better low light performance, more background blur, and a number of other enhancements to noise reduction and dynamic range. In reality, I'm not expecting the sensor to make a huge difference, but I am still looking forward to seeing the first new main sensor since the iPhone 14 Pros. From the looks of it, it is just the 16 Pro Max, by the way, getting this new sensor. Then we're also getting an upgrade to the ultra-wide. More specifically, the Pro models are said to be getting a new 48 megapixel sensor, very likely with pixel binning and ProRAW support too, allowing you to take much higher quality photos from it. And I think that's great. Whenever I want to take a photo on my iPhone that I know I'm going to edit afterwards, I always kind of feel forced to use the main module because of the extra resolution and the ProRAW support, both of which do make a big difference when it comes to editing. Now, one last camera upgrade is when it comes to the telephoto module. It's been reported by a number of different sources that the 16 Pro will now get the same 5x periscope module as the 15 Pro Max introduced last year. The upgrade in zoom quality between the 5x and the 15 Pro's 3x was not really that big, but if you're coming from an older iPhone that only had a 2x module, you will definitely love this upgrade. The fifth biggest upgrade is said to be the larger batteries. Apple is said to be using a stacked battery design with larger capacities. 4676 on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, up from 4222, and 3355 on the 16 Pro from 3274. And we might also finally get faster charging, 40 watts via wired from the current 20 watts that is being advertised, and then 20 watts via MagSafe from the current 15. Which at this point I really do think is needed. The iPhone still takes about 30 minutes to charge to 50%, whereas other phones like the Xiaomi 14 Ultra can charge to 100% in just 30 minutes. The iPhone is one of the slowest charging phones out there, so any improvement is great here. And speaking of improvements, if you're looking to make your iPhone run better, that's where our sponsor Clean My Phone comes in. Made by MacPaw, the creators of Clean My Mac, Clean My Phone is my favorite AI-powered phone cleanup app that intelligently sorts through your files to clear up space for things you really need. This is super useful for when I'm filming huge ProRes files on my iPhone, as it can quickly optimize my storage. The interface is super clean and intuitive. It's really easy to declutter my gallery, as I can see images that are duplicates or blurry, and I can also remove screenshots and third-party bloat. The organization can be theme-based too, helping you organize photos into folders automatically, such as portraits, pets, food, travel, and text. And this is all done on device, so your private information can only be accessed by you. Clean My Phone can also check your network connection and see what's slowing it down too. Try Clean My Phone for free for the first 3 days by using the link below. Which brings us to the A18 chip. And unlike with the iPhone 15s, where we had the A17 Pro inside the Pro models and then the A16 inside the standard models, this year we're set to be getting the A18 on both, of course with the Pro variants inside the Pro models. I was going to show you a tweet from leaker TechRev that mentioned specific core counts, but it looks like he got banned, so maybe what he was saying was true and Apple sent him a warning and they got banned. Yeah, not fully sure what happened, but from the looks of it, it does seem like the A18 and the A18 Pro will be quite similar. It could just be that the A18 is a bin version of the A18 Pro with some of the CPU or GPU cores disabled. And we've also heard rumors about Apple working on a new thermal system to reduce overheating. This has actually been an issue with the iPhone 15 Pros at launch. Not only that, but the iPhone does tend to thermal throttle quite quickly when gaming or doing any intensive tasks. something that other manufacturers don't really suffer from, as Android manufacturers, they do use vapor cooling chambers, which Apple doesn't. It still doesn't seem like Apple will be implementing a vapor cooling chamber here, but rather a graphene thermal system instead. We don't quite know how effective this would be, although apparently Apple does hold a couple of patents on this. Now, the key highlight feature of the A18 chips will be for sure the upgraded neural engine with significantly more cores. This will play a big role in the 8th big change, which is AI. AI is said to be one of the key selling features of the iPhone 16 series, with Apple working on some generative AI tools by themselves, and then also considering a partnership with Google. The idea is that they want to seriously improve Siri and add AI features in a lot of their other first-party apps to better compete in the AI space, something that Apple is heavily behind. And aside from the upgraded neural engine, we are also said to be getting some updated microphones to help with voice pickup, and therefore this entire AI experience with the new Siri. Of course, there's a lot to unpack here when it comes to AI in the iPhone 16, so if you do want to learn more about Apple's AI changes, we do have a separate video about it right here. Aside from this, the action button is coming to the iPhone 16s too, so it will no longer be a Pro exclusive feature, and it is also getting bigger. Like I mentioned this before, how I was never really a fan of how small the action button was on my 15 Pro Max. Well, now it is getting significantly bigger. In fact, based on the leaked CAD models, it would be almost as big as one of the individual volume buttons, making it far easier to reach and press. And on top of this, we're also getting kind of like a second action button called the capture button, which, as you guessed it, will be solely used for the camera. This will be located on the bottom right-hand side of all 4 models, and we'll be able to use it to focus by head pressing, also to take a photo or a video by fully pressing it, and since this will also be a capacitive button, we'll be able to zoom in and zoom out simply by using swipe gestures. And this is something that I'm definitely looking forward to, way more than that larger action button, as I think that having a dedicated button for controlling the camera is so convenient and then also so powerful. Sony has been doing this for years, and I'm happy to see another manufacturer do this too. Another leak change is more storage, 2 terabytes as the highest capacity in addition to 1, which even though we've had this leaked for the past few years as well, and it never really happens, I do think that there's a higher chance of this actually happening this year, now that we're also getting that capture button, which may encourage users to take even more photos and videos. Like for people who shoot in ProRes and do need that storage, in that case 2 terabytes might even be justifiable. I should mention that the 1 terabyte models might be getting slower read and write speeds, as Apple is apparently looking to reduce costs here. The 14th rumored change is Wi-Fi 7. Which, according to Ming-Chi Kuo, would be introduced on the iPhone 16 Pro models only. And this is actually a pretty big deal, as it supports theoretical speeds of up to 46 gigabits per second, or almost 5 times higher than Wi-Fi 6E. Of course, no one in the world has a 46 gigabit per second internet connection, but once we do get Wi-Fi 7 enabled MacBooks, or you do happen to work in an office that uses a NAS and a Wi-Fi 7 enabled router, you could possibly work off of it at the same speeds that you would via a 10 gigabit Ethernet, or even faster. So the possibilities of Wi-Fi 7 are indeed huge, and the iPhone 16 Pros coming with it is really more of a future-proofing thing for when you do have all the tech ready for such a workflow. Also, if you're wondering where you can get these wallpapers that you've seen in our iPhone 16 concepts, well, they're all from our Paper Cut Peaks pack that we released last week. And today we are launching our final pack for March, AMOLED Aura by Attiv. AMOLED Aura is one of our most unique packs yet. They all feature a pitch black background with a unique landscape in the middle that showcases the beautiful outdoors. So it's both battery efficient and minimal. And of course, since all of our 10 AMOLED Aura wallpapers are in 8K, you can also zoom in a lot in the middle, and even use this as a wallpaper in itself. Get AMOLED Aura in our app Wallpapers for iOS and Android today. And lastly, colors. The iPhone 16 Pro is rumored to come in 2 new colors, Desert Titanium and Titanium Gray. Desert Titanium being sort of like a muted gold, whereas Titanium Gray is supposed to look more like the back of an iPhone 6. Personally, I am quite hyped for Titanium Gray, but do let me know what you guys think of all of these iPhone 16 features that have been leaked, and do subscribe for more iPhone 16 Leaks and Rumors episodes. I'm Daniel, doing ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.